you there, Joe? This is Brian Thomas.
Yeah, yes, Brian, everyone is here.
Okay. Quick question for this meeting, to kick this meeting off. Am I still the chairman and can I start the meeting, or does it not work that way?
Oh, well, because you're not present, what we're going to do is we're going to have Jack start the meeting, and then when it comes to the roll call, after we do the roll call, then we'll vote to allow you to participate remotely, and then at that point, then you can take over and chair the meeting.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Let's just call the meeting to order, November 14th, 2024, it's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, this would be the roll call.
Okay. I'll just call for names. Or is he here?
Well, Brian is remote, so you can call his name.
Brian Thomas, this roll call, Brian Thomas.
Present.
Okay. Jack Layson, present. Debbie Dutton,
Present.
Marianne Sheely,
Present.
Mike Hauser,
Present.
Barbara Puffer,
Present.
Dave Sandberg,
Present.
Scott Sappers.
Present.
Then we need to ask for a motion and a second to allow Brian
Okay.
Thomas to participate remotely.
I need a motion to,
I nominate or a motion for Brian Thomas to participate remotely.
I need a second.
Second.
And then a vote.
All in favor?
They need to vote.
Okay. Now what should we do now?
No, they need to vote.
All in favor?
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 okay. So that allows Brian to participate remotely, and then we need to do the same for Mike Hauser.
What do you want me to do? I'm sorry.
Ask for a motion and a second to allow Mike Hauser
Okay,
to
I
participate.
need a motion and a second for
I'll move.
Brian Thomas and Mike Hauser to participate.
Well, this would only be for Mike, but Brian's already allowed.
I move for Mike Kaiser to participate.
Who's
I'll
second?
second that too.
Okay,
So, all in favor?
Aye.
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 okay. So, Brian, you may take over now in chairing the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So, two things for you. I just want to mention, I know we have, I believe, two new people, David Sandberg and Jacob Kendall. Just want to tell you thank you and congratulations both at the same time. Additionally, for Mr. Scott Sappers, congratulations on your recent win.
Thank you.
Item number 4, reorganization. I need a nomination for chairperson for our.
Brian, I need to clarify something with you. I guess you must not have been listening when we were discussing this before the meeting, but the town council, apparently they have to go through like a reaffirmation of the votes that have already taken place. They need to re-vote on this coming Monday, and so at that point it'll become official. I guess there's like a legal technicality that they're trying to follow, and so we don't have to vote on a reorganization until the next meeting. So all the positions are still in effect as they have been for this meeting.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. Then I'll move on top. Approval of the minutes. I assume everyone has the minutes in front of them. Do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
I'll move it, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the minutes that need to take place? Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Item number 6, public comment. Do I have anybody in attendance today regarding public comment? Okay, I'll take that silence as a no. We'll move on to item 7, demonstration of the Tyler ERP Pro by Jake Kendall, Latrice Lofton of Tyler Technologies.
How's it going? Thank you for having us. Audio cut out there for just a second. All I heard was Jake and Kendall, Tyler Technologies. Are we able to take the floor now?
Yes, sir, please.
All right, thank you. All right, let me see if I can share my camera here. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for giving us some time. We don't want to hijack this meeting at all, but Joe has asked us to take 20 minutes to kind of discuss the software that the town of Fort Myers Beach will be acquiring here, replacing their current vendor. But I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jacob Kendall, County Executive for the state of Florida with Tyler Technologies. I just live just north of you guys in New Smyrna Beach. And then I have my colleague, Latrice Lofton. She's our solutions consultant. She's out of Texas. How you doing?
Michigan.
Michigan. I get confused with your sister, Latrice. I'm sorry.
Oh.
She was anyway. So she's here with me today. I'm gonna let her speak majority of this time that we have, but I just wanted to touch on kind of who Tyler is as a whole. If any of you guys have heard of Tyler Technologies before, we are the largest software company exclusively focused on the public sector. We've got over 44,000 software installations across 13,000 and 14,000 locations now across the country. Another fun fact about us is that 45% of Tyler's 7,300 workforce has worked in the public sector at some point in their lives, which is kind of neat to think about. There's a good chance that whether it be your implementation consultant, somebody on customer support, have worked in the public sector at some point. Apologize if you hear yelling in the background. My kid had to stay home sick from school, so my apologies there. But for that as well, I wanted to mention that along with those installs we have nationwide, just in the state of Florida, we have over 50 municipalities on the Tyler ERP Pro software, which Latrice is going to be showing you here in a minute. So, close to you off the top of my head, Sanibel Island Water District, Estero Fire District, some other ones, City of Okeechobee, Groveland, City of Surfside, Orange City. So lots and lots of presence in the state of Florida, which is great. We're growing and growing. Recently, the city of Bushnell has come on to our software as well. So lots of good stuff happening in our Tyler family in the state of Florida. But really, what we are hoping with this new transition over to ERP Pro with Fort Myers Beach is that we're really proud of our client retention rate of 98%. There is a very good chance that this can be the last ERP purchase that the town really has to make. Our transformative technology consistently reinvests in the software year over year, and I think that's what really keeps clients on board with our software. So helping out with offline, no more offline reconciliation, no more paper, no more manual data entry. The list goes on. With conversations that Latrice and I have had with the town about frustrations, we're happy to resolve some of those for you. With that said, like I said, we only got about 20 minutes. I'm going to pass it on to Latrice, who will now be sharing her screen. I want to give you a little high-level overview of kind of what to look forward to, what the software looks like visually, and then she'll jump into some of the key items that we want to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Jake. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for carving out a piece of your precious time to have a look at our ERP Pro software solution. Forgive me, I'm a little new to Zoom, so first off, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Did I share the right screen? You should see like my dashboard and not pictures of kids.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so like Jake mentioned, for this 20 minutes that we have here, I'm just gonna give you a very high level demonstration of the key features and functionality of our ERP Pro software. First and foremost, this is completely web-based solution that can be used in any browser. So right now in Chrome, it can be Firefox. I'm going to show you a little bit later how it's mobile friendly, so it can be opened up on an iPad with the correct credentials and everything as well. All of it is live, real-time data. So anytime you see anything in the system as far as a balance, things like that, it's all in real time. So 2 seconds later, someone paid a vendor, someone, posted a purchase requisition or something, you will see that immediately in the software, okay? So to give you a breakdown of the ERP Pro solution, I'm starting off here on what we call my dashboard. When you log in for the day, your dashboard is going to be specific to your role within the city. So right now, I started with someone who has, the most access within the software. Her name happens to be Anita Dollar. Anita is very finance driven, obviously. So when she logs in for the day, her dashboard is going to be comprised of smart cards that we've developed to give her real-time alerts on things that require maybe her approval or her attention. So no longer are you trying to thumb through emails and get messages or listen to voicemails or something like that. Hey, I have this requisition that I need approved. Okay, as soon as it's your turn within the approval workflow, it's going to immediately land on your dashboard. So up to 99 levels of approval we can accommodate. No one goes that far, but we like to build out the software to make it as expansive as possible. So when it's her turn, maybe she's third in line based on dollar amount or department or GL account code. When it is her turn, she's going to have a smart card that says, hey, someone in IT would like to make a purchase, okay, for $304. Immediately she can go ahead and approve it, reject it, take a look at the record. More importantly, she can click on the budget recap and see if they have enough money in that line item. So at the GL account level, you'll be able to see what was budgeted for, as well as any adjustments, any encumbrances, reserves, and what's available at this point in time. So right from here, she can go ahead and approve it and move it along the chain. Again, it's all paperless, it's all seamless, full audit trail to show you how it went through the system. So those smart cards are showing up whenever it's your time to process anything. They are also used as, just informational. So maybe you need to know that there are checks that are still outstanding. You haven't cleared these checks over 90 days, or there are POs that are sitting out there over 180 days. We're going to let you know immediately. Smart cards only show up if it requires your attention. So we'll see here the full list of smart cards that Anita has access to. One of them that would pop up, departments within 10% of their budget. So once you set your budget for the year, as soon as a department gets within that threshold that you set, whether it's 10%, 50%, 25%, they're going to immediately be listed right here. So you can get a little more proactive instead of reactive when you're kicking off adjustments. You'll see that I'll do a quick refresh so that it's always getting the most up-to-date data. There's also these smart charts, okay? So the smart charts are going to give you quick little, information. Maybe I'm not looking for the detail here, but I need to quickly, when I log in for the day, see where we are budget-wise. I can able to see our original budget and adjustments, any activity, and then the bottom dollar. Now, this makes for a great view-only tool as well. So this is, as a whole for the entire city. But maybe I want to give departments just access to their own account codes or their departments or their segments or projects or programs. They'd be able to see that as soon as they log in for the day, just their piece of the pie. Also, we threw out, different little KPIs or smart charts just to give you some idea of spending month over month, as compared to last year as well. These are all interactive as well, so I can drill in if I wanted to click on that January bar chart there, and it'll take me directly to all of the accounts that had active accounts that had activity that in that particular fiscal year and period. Within our software, we make it really, really easy to get information out. So if anytime you're in a system that has a list, you're going to have this export feature. So I can take this, if I wanted to get, export this out to Excel, I can go ahead and click that export, and it's gonna throw it out into an Excel document, neat rows and columns. So then if I wanted to create some trending information or dig down, I'd be able to see all that raw data, get all of that raw data out of there. So that's any screen you're in, you can take it and export it out to Excel. Keep in mind, this is a web-based solution. If I want to go back to my, if I wanted to get back to my dashboard, click on my little talking T's there, and it takes me back to my beginning screen. Some other things I wanted to throw out there, full menu over here. So once you get in for the day, you approve all of everyone's purchase requisitions, you have nothing else as far as your smart cards. If you need to go in and use something, the full menu is tucked away over here on my hamburger screen. So I have a full list based on your permissions. Maybe you don't have access to all of these. Maybe I don't have access to AP, but I do have access to AR, maybe cashiering, or fixed assets or whatever. If I needed to find a particular menu item, let's say I need to add a new revenue code or update a revenue code, I can just start typing in what I'm looking for, and it's gonna find the menus that I have access to. Now, it won't show up if I don't have access to it. If I don't wanna go fishing for it over and over again, I can go ahead and add it to my favorites, and now my revenue codes are sitting up here at the top. Another very useful feature that a lot of our clients use heavily is this global search. So global search right here, think of this as kind of like a Google search, but it's just Fort Myers Beach data, okay? So let's say I am looking for, a copier just broke, one of our huge copiers broke, and we need to replace it. I can't remember, what vendor we used. I can't remember how much we paid for the last one, and I don't want to go thumbing through, file cabinets of invoices and things like that. You can just type copier or any keyword, and ERP Pro is going to scrub all of your data and surface all the records that have copiers somewhere in there. We filter by categories. So if I wanted to look at all my GL transactions referencing copier, AP invoices, fixed assets, so on and so forth, you can see that right there. But I know I'm looking for a purchasing record. I'm just going to go ahead and narrow it down to my AP invoices. And you'll notice here, I'll just expand all of these so you can see. On the description here, someone typed copier, and that's how come I'm able to find that record. This is the one I'm looking for. That's right, we bought it from Staples in 2023. I can go ahead and drill in and view that item. Now when I load this record, even though I'm looking at it from an AP invoice standpoint, everything is integrated within our software. So you're gonna see the full purchasing record here. So this is the invoice header information. It's gonna give me, was this 1099? When was the post date, the payable date? Do we have discounts that they were eligible for? I can also see the full purchasing record. So I can come out here and see, hey, this is the PO for that record. I can see, hey, these are the payments. Maybe we paid them a check, or maybe we paid them via EFT. I'd be able to see that. And then you'll see here that there's a hyperlink, so I can drill into that record and see the full check. We also have a fully integrated document management solution. So at the time of entering this invoice, we went ahead and scanned in a copy of that invoice. So this makes for a good tool for auditors as well. So auditors can come out here and you can give them view-only access, or if they wanted to look at a full purchasing record, there's no more, having the staff go out and retrieve all of those documents. So I can see the invoice here, a copy of that invoice that we scanned in. You can drag and drop it, you can browse out for it. But further, keep in mind that this is a full procurement process that we went through, so the related documents are here as well. So maybe at the time of that purchase requisition, we went ahead and, acquired our quotes that we were supposed to get. So auditors would be able to see, yep, they did their due diligence, got all of the quotes necessary. When the department that ordered that particular copier received it, they went ahead and attached that packing slip. Also, what the AP pay advice. So we went ahead and since ERP Pro created the AP advice, we went ahead and attached that document as well. So one location to find all of these related documents without having to go, in the filing cabinets, in paper cuts and all of that. No more of that. All right. Also, maybe I'm more interested in this purchasing. How do we pay for it? Oh, that's right. This is the GL account that it went to. Since it is a hyperlink, I can click on that GL account code, and you'll see that it's opening tabs. So I'm not losing my place in other areas either. Another benefit to the different tabs is if anyone else works in the matrix like I do, I have like 3 screens and an iPad and a cell phone and whatever, I can take this tab and drag it onto another monitor so that if someone calls me, I need to do something else, I'll get distracted. I can keep that record up and still do my research and come back later. So that's everywhere within the software. So right here, I'd be able to see a summary of this account code and all of the historic transactions. I'd be able to see, right now I don't have the 2024 data, but I can toggle back to prior years and see all that information. We do not delete any of your data. You're always able to go out there and find this information at your leisure. Okay. Another useful purpose for global search could be a dollar amount. Maybe we have a bank reconciliation issue, or we're looking for a payment for a vendor, or a misapplied payment or something. So you can type in a dollar amount, and it's going to find all of the records that have $52.26 somewhere. Now, if you're in old systems like that, this is like the third or fourth ERP software solution that I've ever worked in. You used to have to do queries or something like that, or learn SQL or something like that to get this type of information. But we surfaced it for you to make it really, really easy to find that information. All right. Another thing I will point out, I talked about how it is mobile friendly. So I'm going to drag another screen over here. And what you're looking at is a mirror of my iPad. So this is, I launched Safari, and let's see, right from here, I can go ahead and launch Safari, and it's going to take me to the same live data had I been, in the office. So let's say you're at a conference, or you're like Mr. Thomas there. He's off-site or whatever. He wanted to see the same information that you wanted to see. You can bring this up, and it's going to, refresh that screen so I can get the most latest and greatest data there. And I can do the same thing I can do in the back office. I can see, our current budget in live, real time. I can also do things like, hey, let me take a look at, the budget recap. So I can do all of that live directly from my iPad as well, or an Android device. It doesn't matter. Works the same. The last thing I wanted to talk about, which is very, very important to a lot of our new clients, is reporting options. Being able to get data out of the software is very important, and we make it really, really easy in a multitude of ways. Number one, smart cards. Based on, since we've been in this industry for over 40 years, we know the most important things to our clients. So we're going to go ahead and surface those for you, so you don't have to run a report to find all of the outstanding checks, all of the outstanding POs. You also have the ability to create ad hoc reports from any screen that you're in, and we saw this earlier. So let's say I'm looking at vendors, or I want to sort by different classes of vendors, or vendor balances or something. I can take anything that's listed in a screen here and export it out to Excel. We saw that earlier. To make a nice, neat, clean report for you. There we go. So there you go. You can take any screen of data and export it out to Excel. Another reporting option happens to be our standard reports. So I have that saved as a favorite. We have, I'm going to that screen, you'll see here that we have about 600 plus standard reports across all applications. Now we're a full ERP solution, so some of these are utility billing, about 100 or so. So if you're not using that, it'll be like 500 standard reports in our software. okay? The standard reports are gonna be, categorized, so you can give people access just to those, like AP, reports, or just GL reports, so you can just say, hey, people have access to, fixed asset reports, general ledger reports. Instead of going through 600, line items, if I'm looking to run a trial balance, I can start typing, and I'd be able to see all of the reports that, meet that criteria. And I'll just show you really quickly how easy it is to run a report in our software. So we give you lots of filtering options. So if I just want to run a report for activity on my general fund for the beginning of last year, end of last year, so I have to type the dates, just use little shortcuts there. By default, the reports are PDF, but we give you multiple reporting options, so it can be exported out as Excel, text file, CSV, a PDF, Word document, So I'll run that report. It's going to open its own window with that information. And our reports are customizable, so you'd be able to upload your own, seal there, so that, it's an official Fort Myers Beach report there. And again, the reports have links as well. So you can take this report, send it out to the different departments where they only see their account information, and then they can click on the hyperlinks that take them directly to those account codes, if they have permission. So it'll block them if they don't have permission. There we go. It takes me right to that GL account screen that I went to earlier. So those are the options when it comes to standard reports. Another thing you can do with our reports is schedule them to run automatically. So let's say there's a report that's due every first of the month, every quarter, annually even. I think that was something that came up during our on-site demonstration. There's a report you have to run every year, you forget. Hey, you can set it and forget it. So you can say, hey, January 1st, every year, go ahead and throw that report out there, or the first Monday of every January or whatever. So you can set that up and distribute it to whatever users you want. So that'll make it a lot easier. You won't forget these things as well. So it can be every month, every week, every day, every hour. Kind of overkill there, but those are the options. The last thing I want to talk about during our very brief overview, the last reporting option is what we call cell sense. So this gives you the opportunity to take, maybe you have a very dynamic Excel document or Excel report that you need to take to, committee, right? Our reports are good. They're neat, clean rows and columns, but maybe you want to show trending information. So we work very well with Excel, and I like to show you what it looks like first. So in your folder here, I have my income statement. And it's empty right now, and what we're gonna do is have ERP Pro take this, take the data and automatically load those areas within the spreadsheet. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna load my income statement. And all we do is a mapping. So essentially what we say is, hey, ERP Pro, take this account code, the total for this account code, and throw it in this cell, in this Excel document. So we're just mapping it. Very, very simple. We work with you during implementation to build as many of these as you want. So when I'm ready to populate my spreadsheet, it defaults to current fiscal year and periods, but you can toggle back to as much data history that you have. Go ahead and load this. Point it to the Fort Myers. There we go. Now I'll just populate my spreadsheet. I think it has about 75, something like that, fields to load, but you'll see it's just that fast. You continue doing other things. So now when I load that spreadsheet, you'll see here that it loaded that data and went ahead and created those charts and graphs so I can see, trending information. And with that being said, I want to say thank you for your time. Are there any questions or are we going forward?
A question?
Thanks, Latrice.
Pleasure.
I have a question.
Yeah, let's just turn the time back over to Joe. Joe, I hope that was kind of what you're expecting during this morning's meeting. Like I said, we wanted to keep it pretty brief, and just so everybody knows, when we typically do a full demo, as what we did with Fort Myers Beach, it's 3, 4, 5 hours long sometimes. So keeping it brief is tough, but I hope you're able to see kind of the gist and the overall look and feel of ERP Pro.
Jake, are you able to hear us? Because we do have a question here from one.
I had a simple question, I'm sure you'll be able to
Sure.
answer it. So you say it's all web-based, so the data is housed somewhere. Where's the data kept and what's the cybersecurity around that?
So we're powered by AWS, Amazon Web Services. So we're leveraging the AWS cloud, and we've been working with them for, I don't know, how long, Trace, would you say? Ever since we really started with cloud services, so for quite a while.
Yeah, quite a while. I would say at least 7 years or so.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, Jake. I wondered if you could maybe run through like the different modules or components that are included in the package that we're interested in here.
Yeah, definitely. So let me see if I can actually share my screen. Would that be helpful to share the screen and the proposal? Yeah, let me do that.
Sure.
Stop sharing. There we go.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so this is what's listed in the proposal and the contract. So we've got our basic financial suite, invoice approvals, our core financials, GL, managing contracts, fixed assets, grant management was a big one. Online purchasing, accounts receivable, cashiering. Let's see, let me scroll down. Also our content manager, Tyler Content Manager, allow you to store and house any documents online versus put your product to the filing cabinet quite a bit. They don't have to do that. We've got that all on the screen for you there. And then we've got, these are just some of the service costs. I don't know if you shared any of the costs or anything, Joe, but it's all right here. This is what's in the contract as well, with our software, SaaS, and as well as our service costs as well. So we'll have it all under one proposal.
Yes, I did share it with the committee. I had sent them the contract, and just so that they were fully informed as they would like to be. I just wanted to make sure that they had a chance to ask you any questions if they had any.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So this is actually gonna replace your purchasing system too, not just your accounting system?
Oh, right, we don't really even have a purchasing.
don't?
Well, I
Okay.
mean, there's a sort of a quasi one included, but it's really not usable. So this certainly is,
So right now it's just a lot of paper?
well, a spreadsheet,
Okay.
basically spreadsheet based.
Oh, Joe, this is a question from Brian Thomas. Will any of the historical data and information that Fort Myers Beach has be loaded into this system, or will you pick a start date and just move forward from there?
Well,
Yeah, we can. Oh, go ahead.
maybe, I mean, my intention was to move everything, but we only have a few years of data in our existing
Right.
system to begin with.
Yeah, that'll be more than enough for sure.
And is there conversion costs associated with that, Jacob?
Yep, that's all tied here under the services, the data conversion services.
Okay, and I assume then that $4,500 is a one-time fee?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
What's the timing? How long does it take to launch it fully?
So, go live dates, typically from executed contract.
Any other questions, so that they may leave the meeting if they would like to?
All right. Thanks everyone for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob and Latrice, we thank you much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure. Have a great day, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Joe, are we back, ready for discussion involving a recommendation to move forward?
Yes.
Okay, So do we have a motion
Well,
regarding the recommendation?
I
Go
have,
ahead, I'm sorry.
I have one question. So, it's $4,500 to transfer the data over. What's the internal cost? Do you have an internal cost associated to man hours and?
No, I don't. No, I never even really thought about that. I was only looking at how much time this was gonna save us in the end.
Okay, so in your opinion, whatever that cost is, it's the ease and facility of the software is gonna override that, just,
It will, and there is really no additional cost. I mean, it's still the same
Part
staff
of
that
doing your
we're
day
already
job.
paying.
right,
Right,
Okay.
we just have to fit it in, to our everyday work.
okay, great.
Joe, I have a question, I think, too. This is Brian Thomas. I know he mentioned 6 to 7 months for the implementation with the charge of $4,500. I mean, I thought the $4,500 for implementation sounded very reasonable, but I did want to question the length of time it would take. Does that seem reasonable to you based on the conversations and discussions that you've had with the company?
In terms, reasonable in the sense that, do you think that, it's realistic to think that it could be done that quickly? Is that what you're asking, or?
I was kind of asking maybe the opposite question. Why would it take 6 to 7 months if primarily it sounds like we're not going to be loading a lot of historical data, right? Once they get that map, and I would think into the system, I was just had an expectation in my mind that implementation could be much quicker than that, but possibly not.
I'll help you with
Oh,
this one.
thank you, Debbie. I was just gonna say,
It'll take a while just to prep for it. You know, they have to understand our requirements, our needs, and what we have to understand what's the, you know, how those systems match up and that type of thing.
Sure.
So there's probably a couple months built in just to prep for it. And then you have to
Okay.
gather the data and move it, and then you have to have a couple months to ramp up, because you want to have a couple of month-end closes to make sure everything's good before you say it's done.
Right.
and that's
So
true.
that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
About a 6-month window of just exactly what you said.
I was just
Yeah.
saying my company's changing their ERP system, and we're starting now. We expect to have it done in 2.5 years.
And I could add too that this has so many more features than what we currently have. So there's an opportunity to kind of redesign, you know, what our processes to take advantage of this efficiency and what it can offer. So I think we have to go through that thought process as well to just make sure that when we do this setup that we're really taking full advantage of what it has to offer. So I think there's a bit of a learning curve on our end just to become familiar with what it all can do, and then from there to translate what we're doing into the way it would function for us. So, and I want to make sure we do take enough time to do that. But certainly we're very anxious to get it up and running, so we're not going to be dragging our feet on it either.
Sure. Well, just a comment again. This is Brian. It certainly feels like and looks like it has a lot of bells and whistles. So I'm sure you and your staff are excited to have this type of information at the fingertips.
Well, it also looks like you have opportunities, once you get comfortable with it, to add on additional modules
Yes.
as you see fit for what your needs are. So expansion to other areas, if it works well, and integrates well, then you can expand it going forward too. So it's looked really good, looked like a really good system.
And they do have, because they do provide for municipalities, they do have other areas of software, like for example in the permitting department, or there's where we're struggling with the software that we have, and so they're already looking at that. I mean, finance is not, but those departments are starting to look at how this may be a possible solution for them and how it would integrate into our system. So they're already thinking that way. So, but getting the financial end of it established and up and running, then from there we can plug in other areas. And one of the things I'll be mentioning in my report is finance has taken over oversight of the utility billing department, and so they're already in the process of converting to a new software. But as we get further along, this may be the next step is to integrate them into this as well.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments regarding the Tyler ERP software?
So this is Mike. I was trying to ask a question a while ago, and I don't know if I came through or not, and I'm sure it's already been thought of, but this thing will work with our auditors, I'm guessing. So So I guess they have their own sign-on and they can do everything remotely. So,
Yes, it should work very well with them because they would have their own sign and we'd be giving them like view-only access. And so they'd be able to access all of this information, including the backup documentation that would be attached to like invoices, for example. They would be able to have that at their fingertips instead of having to request it separately from us.
right?
Okay, thanks, Michael. Anybody else? Okay. Jolene, are we ready for a motion for the recommendation?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Do I have a motion for the recommendation to move forward with the implementation of the Tyler ERP Pro software?
I will.
Motion by Michael, do I have a second?
Second?
Is that David?
Yep.
Okay, good. A second by David. Any further comments or discussions regarding the motion or the software? There being none, I would look for, all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Joe, Finance Director's report, please.
Yes, when I prepared this report, it was a while ago, and so, you know, there have been some new developments, but I could just quick highlight the things that I think are of significance in my report. And I did start out by like listing the different things I've tried to do along the way since it's been a while since we met last. I think it was July. So I have been trying to keep you up to date by providing you with the monthly financial statements as they become available. And of course, we went through the budget process and I was sending you the updates on that. So hopefully that's allowed you to be up to speed with what we've been doing. One of the things that has happened since the budget was adopted was that we received the final figures from the property appraiser's office. So according to the latest final taxable values, we'll be able to generate an additional $190,000 of ad valorem revenue, and then we budget at like 96% of that, so that brings it down to $183,000. So that's additional money that we had not included in the budget, but it looks like we'll actually be collecting that going forward this year. As part of the budget process, we were required to publicize what the rollback rate would be, and because the taxable values have gone up significantly, even by keeping the millage rate at 0.99%, the rollback rate that would be required to generate the same amount of property tax revenue as the 0.99 had done the previous year, we would have had to have lowered our millage rate to 0.6561%. Because we left it the same, mathematically that equates to a 50.9% increase over that rollback rate. But that's really like an artificial number that is required by statute to provide to the people. And basically we're not even back up to where we started prior to Hurricane Ian. We're almost there because of the property taxable values haven't increased, but we're not quite there. So we're still going to be generating a little bit less property tax revenue next year than we were before Ian. We did get confirmation that the community disaster loan that we had applied for almost 2 years ago from FEMA, and it's something that they recommend that we do, especially given the catastrophic damage of Hurricane Ian. The intent of the loan was to enable us to continue operations, but unfortunately the reality of it took almost 2 years to get this loan, and so it's really not even needed at this point, but they encouraged us to still accept it, and so it's really there as a safety net. It's just over $4 million that we qualify for, and we are only allowed to tap into it if it's a last resort. They described it as something that we need to keep the lights on. I don't foresee that happening, especially since we already have the bridge loan and we have other grants So this truly would be a safety net to be used as a last resort, but it is something that we were awarded.
How long is that available?
I think it's about, they reevaluate it like within 3 years, and then within 5 years, I think, is the limit.
So
And
this is Brian Thomas, there's no cost associated with this to the town if they don't access the lawn.
that's true. There's only an interest cost if we were to use it, and that's at 3.5%, roughly 3.5%. It's a slight difference in the 3.5, but that's the rounded up rate of interest. So if we do not draw anything down from the loan, then we do not pay any interest.
Great, thank you.
And I should also clarify that this is not money in our bank. It's money that we have to request, so we're not earning interest on this either. We did receive the reimbursement by the state for the purchase of the new town hall, so that was the $7,019,965 out of the $8 million grant from the state. So we have less than $1 million remaining to draw down from, and that will be used once we close on the adjacent property, which is owned by the 7-Eleven corporation, and it's in the process of being scheduled. It'll probably be scheduled any day now, and then once we actually expend the dollars to close on that property, then we'll receive the final reimbursement from this $8 million grant. And just so you understand, like, the financing behind this, it's not just this grant that's being used to finance both the building and the adjacent property. It's also our insurance proceeds. So that combined is what's paying for that. And then I went on to kind of give you an update of what all of our available funding sources are. It's a lot of detail here, and I just do that just to kind of keep it up in front of everyone as far as what all we have to work with. Since I sent this out to you, and then I had sent out as part of this package the August financial statements, I have sent out to you the latest town manager finance report that has a few more additional items I thought I could highlight. It's not included in this agenda packet, but it was included in that separate email I sent out to you. So there's only a few things I thought I would highlight. And as I had mentioned earlier, we did assume responsibility for the billing department for water, and that started October 1st. Of course, right afterwards we had the hurricanes to deal with. But one of the first things we're looking at are the rate adjustments that were scheduled to go into effect. So we're currently auditing those to make sure that they were applied correctly and calculated correctly, and so that process is underway, just to be absolutely certain that was done correctly. And then as we dig into that, I'll be able to report to you any issues that are uncovered, but we're not at a point yet where we have clarity on what could be there. I should also mention that the utility billing system was moved to a new IBM cloud-based server, and that was just done because we did have an issue because it was on a physical server that had went down, and this was, I think it was the end of August, so it delayed our processing of billing by a few weeks as a result of that. So, and it's one of the reasons why we're changing softwares, was to get out of that old system also. So right now we're still on the old system. They're transitioning to a new system. The new system will be much easier to work with. Right now, the old system, all we have are, in terms of data, you cannot extract data into spreadsheets to do analysis. The reports that are generated are in PDF format. You can't easily convert those to Excel. They're a nightmare. I've tried. Fortunately, our auditors have, I guess, a utility that they use to convert PDF into Excel, and so they're helping me to look at the past year's accounts receivable ledgers. also in an effort to just analyze to make sure that the rates that have been applied were correct and that it all makes sense. Because I'm just now taking over that responsibility, I just wanna make sure that what we have out there is accurate. And then also then, as it gets converted into the new system, to have a way of comparing, the new to the old to make sure that the data was converted correctly. So that's been a very time-consuming project, so I thought it was worth mentioning that that's what we're also involved in. The bridge loan, it was voted on by and approved by the state legislators, and then approved by the governor to extend it out for a full 10-year term. But it was taking a while to actually get the official documents stating that effect, but we did finally get that. I think, I don't remember the exact date, but that has been approved already by town council since you last met. So now the maturity date of the bridge loan is May 8th, 2033. Since we last met, of course, we had Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, and just to give you a glimpse as to what we do in the finance department, like in preparation for an event like that, because of the vulnerability we have in the trailers, and then especially with Milton and the forecasted storm surge, it seemed pretty likely that they could, be flooded. And so we did remove all of the contents of our paperwork, our computers, other than, and anything and everything but the furniture was evacuated. We brought home what we needed to continue operations to each of our homes, the equipment, and any documents that we may need to continue working. And so we were able to continue operations during that period. It was very brief. We did struggle with the power outages like everyone else, so we weren't fully operational, but we were able to get some emergency things done, and we kept in communication with cell phones, and then as people had power through email, and we checked in with each other for those few days, so that it worked well. And then of course we had to bring everything back and get reset up. So that's right now what the process is. Hopefully then in the new town hall, when we'll be elevated, we won't have to do such an extensive evacuation.
Did the trailers get water?
No, in the end they did not. It came pretty close to getting inside, but they did not. I think because they're actually elevated enough that the water just came up to the point of breaching the doors, but it did not get in. Other facilities like the Oaks, they were flooded. Okay, so that's a glimpse of our emergency procedure. We did make the escrow payment for the 7-Eleven property. That was like one of the preliminary steps to closing. That has already been done. A decision has been made to move the contracts and procurement specialist vacancy that's currently in the town clerk's office under the finance department, so we're actively recruiting for that person, since finance seems to be really has a strong interest in that aspect of things, especially in making sure that documentation is obtained and contracts are followed up on for reimbursement purposes for FEMA, so that it seems to fit nicely with that responsibility. And we're also keeping track of the purchase orders, and so it kind of fits with that too. We're working with the town attorney to establish contract templates. The town clerk's office has been doing a lot of work in that respect, especially Jason is sitting in the back there. He has been a fantastic help in getting all of that work done. Has put in a lot of hours. Let's see. I think that covers all of the main points I wanted to mention regarding an update. The last thing would be, I did give you a copy of the September financial statements, and I just wanted to point you to the second to the last page, which is page 23, and this would be the statement of revenue and expenditures, budget versus actual by department, and this is just within the general fund. And again, this is page 23 of the September financial statements. So this kind of gives you a glimpse of what all the variances are. As we, and this is preliminary, we're not completely finished with our accruals yet, so this will change, but I think this gives you a good idea of what it is. So we're ahead in revenue by a total of 290,000 compared to budget, and most of that has to do with interest that was earned. The negative amount in finance, that's because we're not having to borrow as much from the bridge loan as we budgeted for, and the bridge loan was located in the finance department in terms of accounting, so that's almost $900,000 less than what we were expecting to use, and that has to do with the fact that we brought in more parking revenue, more community development revenue, more code enforcement revenue, etc. So those larger positive variances listed above explain why there's less of a bridge loan that was needed. And we did plan on using the bridge loan to make up for the revenue losses, so that's why we're using less of it. And then on the expense side of things, there's quite a lot of favorable variances, most of which had to do with vacancies, and some of it had to do with charging expenses of some of the employees who are working on restoration or recovery work that will be reimbursed by FEMA. So that brought down some of the personnel costs, like for example in Public Works. Of course, the Bay Oaks pool never reopened, and so what we had budgeted, we had thought maybe it would reopen halfway into the year, but that never happened. So we saved quite a bit of the expense there. And then the negative variance is down at the bottom. Like if you start with finance, we had added the grants coordinator position to our department, but that was with the understanding that there were going to be vacancies in other departments that would help offset it, and so that's why you see that there. There was also an additional $10,000 of audit expense related to the FEMA auditing. Mound House had more than budgeted, but incorporated into that 41,000 over budget, 26,000 of it is being reimbursed by a grant, so that's really not reflected there. And then the additional amount was additional repairs that were not budgeted and will not be reimbursed by FEMA. And then the Times Square negative variance, that has to do primarily with the landscaping that we had to replace, and that's not reimbursable by FEMA. And Newton Park, and that was a small amount. We had to put fencing up there, which was not budgeting. Same with, let's see, I'm skipping over it. The legal department, that had to do with the additional expenses related to the demolitions and the work that they had to do to research, the behind the scenes research that the legal team did for us to make sure that properties were eligible for demolition. So that's just kind of a snapshot of where we are. And then the bottom line there, change in fund balance, that's bringing an additional $2.8 million into the general fund. So what I've proposed and is on the agenda for town council would be to move at least the $2 million of it into the emergency fund. So that would be an additional $2 million, because there are expenses that we incur with each hurricane, with each storm that comes through, that are not reimbursed by FEMA, and so we need to keep building that. The other reason is normally we would put a large amount like this into capital, but we're prohibited from doing so as long as we have this bridge loan, and so that kind of puts us in an unusual situation where we're only allowed to use it for anything extra that comes in, we're only allowed to use it for emergencies or for operations. So that's why I'm recommending we put at least $2 million into emergency fund. And then once we have the final audited figures, that will give us the final figure that we can then make another decision on, like, of whatever's the final figure is less than $2 million we've already put into the emergency fund, then we could also put that amount into the emergency fund, or perhaps use it a different way. but we only have 60 days, which will expire at the end of November, to amend the 2024 fiscal year budget. And so I wanted to at least get the $2 million in there before we close the year on that. So that is my my update. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I would expect that there was quite a bit of expense in October though, for all the sand cleanup and,
Oh, definitely, there is, yes.
so you move it into the emergency fund, then it gets used.
It does, so it's not like it's truly building up, it is being expended. And it's also, we're not reimbursed instantly, it takes, several months, if not years, to get the full reimbursement, so it also helps with cash flow to have it there.
All right,
I have a question
Well, when you-
related if you're moving are you asking a question or moving forward on the agenda? Sorry.
I was gonna do both,
Okay.
please go.
No, I just wanted to say, and I was kind of trying to say this last time when we didn't have enough people here. I don't think we need all this paper. This is a great summary. I don't know if we all need to vote on just having 1 or 2 pages, or maybe 5 pages or something like that, just summarizing. I don't think we need all this detail every time we meet. If everybody agrees or disagrees or has ideas of what you wanna see.
Just for clarity then, are you saying like for our actual meeting,
Yeah.
just to have a few pages of
Yeah.
just the high-level summaries? Would you still appreciate receiving like a PDF file with
Sure.
the detail? Or, one of the reasons why I've been providing it is I wanted to make sure that that there's full transparency, that there's nothing being hidden, and that to give you an
That's why.
opportunity to, ask questions if you see
Yeah,
something
cause
that doesn't look right.
this is in the record, so.
Oh. Okay. But maybe we just don't need to print it all.
Yeah, I would agree.
But it's nice to have the 1 or 2, you know, like, this is a great summary.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I can certainly do that for the next meeting.
Yeah, maybe this as a compromise, Joe. Have a summary available for everybody, at present day of meeting. The PDF still goes out with the complete file, people can print off and review as much as they wish, or not. And then, certainly, as always, be prepared to discuss it when they, come to the meeting.
That sounds good.
Okay, with that being said, I'm looking for a motion to approve the finance director's report, including the financial statement for period ending September 30, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
I'll second.
Any other, final discussion or comments regarding? Okay, there being none, I would look for for the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're at, I guess actually item number 8, which is member items and reports. Do we have any member items and reports? Okay, there being none, item 9 is, next meeting, which I understand is to be determined. Outside of that, are there any other discussions, comments, that anyone wants to bring forward, this committee?
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna move to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian, may I just ask, is there any, consensus or suggestion as to when the next meeting should be? Did you wanna meet in another month, in 2 months, like how soon would you like to meet?
I'd be in favor of meeting next month. Obviously subject to, scheduling for the group individually and collectively, but that would certainly be my thought. I think meeting next month would be appropriate, but I'm open to commentary and suggestions or otherwise.
That's fine.
Well, I could send out another, survey to see when everyone's available, so we can make sure we have a quorum, and then I could let you know what the date it would be.
Okay, excellent. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. I guess maybe just one comment, because I'm obviously not on the beach right now. Based on the expert forecasters, do we feel there's a high likelihood that we're gonna get another hurricane here in the next week?
Looks like it's going over land right now, so that should slow it down.
Yeah, the
Okay.
latest model showed going more towards Central America than coming north. So
Okay.
Jackie's
Well,
not
I think
freaking
I
out
probably
yet.
speak for everybody on this one, we would certainly appreciate the pass. You know, for those of you that took water, whether it be Debbie, Colleen, or Milton, my thoughts are out too. We were fortunate enough to escape Debbie, but not the other two. So, you know, when we moved to Florida, everybody said, move to the beach, it'll be fun.
It is.
So, okay. All right, well, again, I'll move to adjourn. Do we have a second for adjournment?
I'll second it.
Michael, the second.